Hello again, and welcome to the Corner Studio here in my garage. And I see from the high-tech teleprompter, which I typically hold up at the start of the program, it is indeed time for another episode of Friday Evening Camera Talk, and this one's number 135. I'm kind of calling it New Lens Night because we have a new lens here. It is the 24-105 f4-7.1, and yes, for 105 on the back end, 7.1 is a little high. We'll talk about that a little bit. We'll touch on it more as the show goes on. We're shooting tonight on the Nikon Z8 and the 24-105 lens, the new one. And everything that you see in tonight's program was shot with the 24-105, except a little sneaky quiz that we're going to throw in later, which the wife created. She shot all that material. Some of it's with the 70-200, and some of it's with the 24-105, the new lens. And I'll just warn you in advance, I failed the quiz. I didn't get but one of them correct, and it's embarrassing, but it's going to fool you. Most of you guys are going to fail that quiz unless you just get lucky. But what she's done is you're going to look at two clips, and you're going to pick which one was shot with the 70-200, which one was shot with the 24-105. In fact, I think we'll just skip a couple of these other segments, which I was going to do first, and we'll jump right into the quiz. But what happens is you'll see the split screen, and you're going to pick 24-105 or 70-200, and then it'll flash up what the answer is. So let's just do that now for the fun of it, and I'm going to assign everybody a failing score before we get started, because the wife is a skilled and crafty photographer, and I think she knows how to fool me anyway. But anyhow, let's roll the quiz, and we'll be right back. All right, so we just saw the quiz that the wife did. I'm sure there'll be some joker out there that said they got 100 on it. If you think you got 100 on the quiz, unsubscribe from the channel, because I don't trust anything else you're going to say if you leave comments. I got a segment here which I wasn't even sure what the heck to do with. You know, it's been recent, kind of recent trend, is that I used to do these standalone videos that weren't Friday Evening Camera Talk, where I just went over some camera topic and I posted that as a standalone. And I have lately, past few months at least, been folding more and more content just into Friday Evening Camera Talk. But I thought that I might do a standalone with the 24-105 compared with the 24-120, because that's the two that are going to butt heads. At some point I'll test these guys against each other, but let's just drop that clip in. I didn't shoot that particularly for Friday Evening Camera Talk, but I think it works. And if you get bored in the middle of it, it's about 4.5 minutes, I think. Just fast forward through it, and we'll catch up with you on the other end. So you'll see this laid out on the table with the 24-120, and you get an idea what both lenses look like and their heft and that kind of thing. I will say before we roll the video, The 24-105, that's 12 ounces, whereas the 24-120 is 22 ounces. And wow, you can really notice that when they're on the cameras. But let's roll the segment and we'll be back in a couple of minutes. So what we're looking at here on the tabletop is, of course, the Nikon Z mount lenses, the 24-105, the 24-120. I thought I'd set up the overhead camera and we'd just take a closer look at them. First things first, the 24-105 is a relatively new lens. It came out early in 2026. The 24-120 has been out for several years. This newer one is a compact and lightweight lens, and yes, it has a little bit of a plasticky feel compared to the 24-120. This lens right now retails for about $550. It so happens that the 24-120 is on sale right now for about $1,000. Now, you can get both of these sometimes at a better price as part of a kit when you buy a camera with the lens. So keep that in mind. They're frequently offered in kits with some of the Nikon Z bodies. But the thing about the 24-120 is it has a little bit longer reach. This one only goes out to 105 millimeters. The 120, of course, goes 15 millimeters longer. So when you have the zoom out on this one all the way, you're getting a little more reach. It might be possibly useful depending on what you're doing. I use the 24-120 as a multi-purpose lens and often around the studio. And I find sometimes that extra 15 millimeters on the back end is necessary. Now, the 24-120, this is an S-line lens, and it's got heft to it and a better build quality than the 24-105. This lens, when you install it on some of the Nikon cameras, it will be weather sealed basically. You could use this outside in the drizzle. So that may or may not be an important feature considering how you're planning to use this lens, but it is a better build quality. And the f-stop is lower. This is an f4 all the way through the entire range, whereas the 24-105 is a higher f-stop through part of its range. It starts off at 24 end is f4, and it moves up to f7.1 at the higher end of its range. The opening of this lens is smaller than the 24-120. This takes a 67 millimeter filter, which is this thing that I've got on the end of it here. 67 millimeters is its opening, whereas the 24-120, that's a 77 millimeter filter. Now, that may be important to notice because a 77 millimeter filter, in general, you've got a wider lens with more opportunity for light to go through. A lot of Nikon's lenses are 77 millimeters. If you are thinking about buying polarizers, neutral density filters, that type of thing, quite a few of the lenses are set up to be 77 millimeters in size, and we actually use our neutral density filters and polarizers, and my kit is aligned with 77 millimeters. I have nothing at present that would cover 67 millimeters. So I find that the 24-105 seems like just surprisingly good output for what you have to pay for this lens, which is roughly about half of the cost of the 24-120. So all factors that you have to take into account when you're making your own lens decision. But once again, this lens is not weather sealed. If you're out in harsh conditions with it, you want to pay attention to how you use this lens. Anyway, back to the main segment. We're going to close out the show tonight with some clips here at the end. There are a few photos and a little bit of video, and the wife shot some of it. I shot a little bit of it when we went out to lunch yesterday around the marina, and the lighting was pretty poor, so you'll see that. But I think a lens has to work, and you have to be able to take it out regardless of you know, whether the light looks great or whether it's just kind of average. And what we'll do is we'll close out the show here at this point, and I'll thank everybody for joining us, and we hope to see you again soon in another video and further samples of this guy to follow. So